Welcome to Talk with Hana, your English learning podcast channel. Let's learn English simply and confidently together. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Talk with Hana. I'm so happy you're here with us today. I am Hana.
Hey there, I'm Josh. It's great to be back. I'm feeling really good today. How about you? I had the best cup of coffee this morning, and I feel like I can talk about English all day.
That's so you. Okay, so I have to share something quick. The other day, my neighbor told me that my cooking smells interesting. And I said, "Oh, thank you." But then I realized, was that a compliment or was he disagreeing with my choices politely?
Oh, wow, that's a perfect example of what we're talking about today, because today's topic is all about how to disagree politely in English without sounding rude, without starting an argument, and without hurting someone's feelings.
Yes, and this is such an important topic because in real life, at work, with friends, in school, we don't always agree with people, and that's totally okay. But how we disagree makes a huge difference.
Absolutely. So by the end of today's episode, you'll know exactly how to say "I don't agree" in a way that sounds natural, confident, and respectful. You'll have real phrases you can use right away.
And here's a fun question for you. Write it in the comments below. Have you ever disagreed with someone in English and it came out sounding ruder than you wanted? Tell us what happened. We'd love to hear your story.
Oh, and before we jump in, if you're new here, please subscribe to Talk with Hana. Hit that subscribe button right now so you don't miss any of our episodes. We post new content every week, and we are here to help you grow your English every single day.
Okay, let's get into it. This is going to be so useful, I promise.
Let's go.
All right, so let's start with the most important foundation. When you want to disagree in English, the biggest mistake people make is going too direct, too fast. In English, especially in social or professional situations, we usually soften our disagreement first before we say what we really think.
Exactly. Think of it like this. Before you say no or "I don't think so," you add a little cushion, a soft landing. And the formula is pretty simple. It's softener plus your opinion. So first you say something that shows you're listening and you respect the other person, and then you give your real thought.
Right. So let me give you some of the most common softeners we use. The first one is, "I see what you mean, but," for example, "I see what you mean, but I think we should try a different approach." You're not saying the person is wrong, you're saying you understand them, and here's another idea.
Here's another great one. "That's a good point, but..." So for example, "That's a good point, but the deadline might be a problem." See how you acknowledge something positive first? It immediately takes the tension out of the conversation.
And here's one I use all the time. "I'm not sure I agree with that." This is so useful because it's soft. You're not saying you're wrong. You're saying, I have a different feeling about this. It leaves space for conversation.
Now I want to give you a few more examples so you can really hear how these sound naturally. Ready? "I understand your point, but I think there might be another way to look at it." Or, "That makes sense, but I've had a different experience." Or, "I hear you, but I'm not totally convinced."
Oh, I love "I hear you." That one sounds so natural and modern. You know what's great about all these phrases? They all do two things at the same time. They show respect and they give you space to share your opinion. That's the magic combination.
Here's a question for you listeners. Can you think of a situation where you needed to disagree with someone, a friend, a teacher, a coworker? Write it in the comments and tell us which phrase you would use. We read every comment.
Now, let's talk about what not to say, because sometimes learners use phrases that are too direct and they don't realize it sounds harsh. For example, just saying, "No, that's wrong," is very blunt, or saying, "I disagree" with nothing after it can sound cold.
Right. In English, especially in casual conversations, we rarely say just "I disagree" and stop. We almost always explain or soften it. Another one to be careful with is "actually, you're wrong." The word "actually" here can sound very confrontational. It's better to say "actually, I think." Notice the shift. You're focusing on your own opinion, not attacking theirs.
Great point. So remember the formula. Don't go straight into disagreement. Start with a softener and then share your view. That's it.
To summarize this section, the key phrases are "I see what you mean, but," and "That's a good point, but," and "I'm not sure I agree," and "I hear you, but." Practice saying these out loud right now. Seriously, say them. It helps.
Okay, now that we have the basics, let's talk about how to use these phrases in real life situations. Because disagreeing with your best friend is very different from disagreeing with your boss, right?
So true. Let's start with casual conversations, like with friends. When you're with friends, you can be a little more relaxed and direct. For example, if your friend says, that movie was terrible and you loved it, you might say, really? I actually thought it was pretty good. I liked the story.
See, it's still friendly, but you're clearly saying you have a different opinion. You can also use, I don't know about that, which is very informal and casual. It's like saying, I'm not so sure. Or even, are you serious? I completely disagree, but only with very close friends because this is quite direct.
Now let's move to professional situations, like at work or in a meeting. Here, you want to be more careful and diplomatic. Instead of, I don't agree, try, I'd like to offer a different perspective if I may. Or could we also consider, or I wonder if there's another way to approach this.
Ooh, I love I'd like to offer a different perspective. That sounds so professional and confident at the same time. And notice, it's not aggressive at all. You're not saying you're wrong. You're saying, let me add something.
Now here's a comparison, formal versus informal. Informally, I don't think that's a great idea. Formally, with all due respect, I have some concerns about that approach. Same meaning, very different tone. The formal version is longer and more careful. It's what you'd say to a manager or in an important meeting.
Here's a quick practice activity for you. I'm going to describe a situation, and I want you to choose which phrase sounds better. Are you ready?
Go for it.
Okay. Situation 1. Your coworker says you think you should cancel the team lunch. Option A, no way, that's a bad idea. Or B, I see what you mean, but I think the team really needs that break.
Definitely B. A sounds very blunt and even a little rude. B shows that you understand the concern, but you still have your own opinion. The key is to show you're thinking about their view first, then adding yours.
Exactly. Here's another tip. First, match your tone to your relationship. Second, give a reason after your softener whenever possible. Third, avoid the word wrong in direct conversations. It tends to put people on the defensive immediately.
Write in the comments, what situation do you find the hardest to disagree in? At work, with family, with strangers? We're curious.
Okay, let me try a quick role play. Josh, let's say you think we should do a podcast episode about grammar every week, but I think variety is better. How do I disagree?
Hit me with it.
Okay, that's actually a great idea, and I love that you're thinking about grammar, but I wonder if mixing in different topics would keep our listeners more engaged.
Perfect. That felt so natural. You didn't attack my idea, you even complimented it, and then you offered an alternative. That's the gold standard of polite disagreement in English. To review this section, in casual settings, be relaxed but kind. In professional settings, be more diplomatic with phrases like, I'd like to offer a different perspective. Always match your language to your context.
Now let's go deeper. We've got the basic phrases, we've got the situational tips. Now let's talk about some more advanced techniques, because sometimes you need to do more than just disagree. Sometimes you need to disagree and keep the conversation going in a positive direction.
This is where it gets really interesting. One powerful technique is to ask a question instead of directly stating your disagreement. For example, instead of, I don't think that will work, you say, what if we looked at it from a different angle? Or have you considered, or what do you think would happen if we tried it this way?
Oh, this is so clever, because when you ask a question, you're not saying you're wrong, you're inviting them to think alongside you. It feels collaborative, it feels respectful, and honestly, it's very effective.
Here's some more question-based disagreements. Are you sure about that? Gently, not aggressively. What are your thoughts on, could this also mean? These are all ways of gently pushing back without making the other person feel attacked.
Now, let's talk about tone of voice and word stress, because in English, how you say something is just as important as what you say. For example, the phrase, I think you might be right, if you say it with a warm, open tone, it sounds genuine. But if you say it in a cold, flat tone, it can sound sarcastic.
So when you're practicing these phrases at home, don't just read them. Say them out loud with a warm, friendly tone. Imagine you're talking to someone you really like and respect. That mindset will naturally come through in your voice.
Here's another advanced phrase that works beautifully. I can see where you're coming from, and I respect that. My concern is, This structure is amazing because it's 3 parts: acknowledge, validate, then your concern. It never sounds rude.
Let me give you some real-life mini-practice situations. Situation 1. Your friend says the restaurant you chose is overpriced. You disagree. Try saying, I understand the concern, but I think the quality here is really worth it. Have you tried their pasta?
Situation 2, in class, your teacher says something you're not sure about. You might say, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I read something slightly different on this topic. Could you help me understand? This is respectful and shows you're engaged.
In situation 3, online in a comment section, someone disagrees with your opinion. A polite English response might be, that's an interesting point. I see it a bit differently though. I think. Never start with actually you're wrong online. It never ends well.
Now it's your turn. Speak out loud with me. Repeat after me. I see what you mean, but I think there's another way to look at it. Say it again. I hear you, but I'm not totally convinced. One more. That's a good point, and here's what I'd add to that.
If you said those out loud, you're already practicing real English. That's incredible. Every time you repeat out loud, you're building the muscle memory for natural conversation.
Let's review this section. The advanced techniques are asking questions to disagree, focusing on tone and delivery, and using the 3-part structure. Acknowledge, validate, then your concern. These make your disagreements sound thoughtful and natural. Okay, time for the mistakes section. And honestly, I have to confess, when I was learning English, I made almost every single one of these mistakes. So you're in good company. We've all been there.
Same here. I once told a coworker that's completely wrong, and I could see their face change immediately. I felt terrible. I didn't mean to be rude, I just didn't know how to say it more softly.
So let's look at the most common mistakes people make when disagreeing in English. Mistake number 1, being too blunt. Saying things like, that's wrong, no, that's not right, or I completely disagree. These aren't always rude in every culture, but in English conversation, they can shut down the discussion very fast.
The better alternative, add a softener first. Instead of that's wrong, say I think there might be a slight misunderstanding here. Instead of I completely disagree, say I'm not sure I fully agree with that. Here's why. The meaning's the same, but the feeling is very different.
Mistake number 2, using but too early. If you say, I understand, but, and put huge stress on the but, it sounds like you didn't really understand at all. It almost cancels everything before it.
The fix? Use and sometimes instead of but. Try, I see your point, and I also think that. This sounds more cooperative. It's a small change, but it feels much more collaborative.
Mistake number 3, apologizing too much. Some learners say things like, sorry, but maybe you're wrong. The over-apology makes you sound unsure, and it actually weakens your point. You don't need to apologize for having a different opinion.
Right. Instead, be calm and confident. I think there's another way to consider this. No apology needed. You're allowed to have a different view. Own it politely.
And mistake number 4, staying silent to avoid conflict. So many learners just say yes, yes, when they actually disagree because they're afraid of making things awkward, but this causes misunderstandings later.
The better approach, use gentle disagreement phrases so you're honest but still kind. You don't have to fight or argue, just say, I have a slightly different view on this, and people will respect you for it.
Can you think of a mistake you've made? Write it in the comments. We promise we won't judge. It really helps to name the mistake so you don't repeat it.
Mistakes are how we learn. Every single person learning a new language makes them. The important thing is to notice, correct, and keep going. You're doing amazing just by listening to this episode.
All right, let's do some interactive practice. I love this part. We're going to play Choose the Better Sentence. I'll give you a situation and 2 options, A and B, and we'll talk about which one is better. You can even pause the video and answer before we do.
Let's go.
Situation 1. Your friend says they think learning grammar is a waste of time. Option A, you're so wrong, grammar is important. Option B, I hear you, it can feel tedious, but I think grammar really does help you sound more natural.
B is much better. A sounds defensive and a bit aggressive. B shows empathy and gives a good reason. You're not dismissing their feeling, you're adding your own perspective.
Situation 2. Your colleague suggests a new strategy in a meeting. You disagree. Option A, I don't think that'll work. Option B, that's an interesting approach. I do have a few concerns about the timeline, though. Could we explore that?
B wins again. A is too direct with no explanation. B shows interest, acknowledges their idea, and opens a constructive conversation. It sounds like a team player.
Situation 3, someone online says English is easy to learn. You disagree. Option A, actually, that's not true. English is really hard. Option B, that's great that it's working well for you. From me, I've found it has some really tricky parts, like the phrasal verbs.
Oh, B is so good. You're not attacking them, you're sharing your own experience. This is called using I statements. For me, in my experience, I've found these are golden for polite disagreement.
Now, here's your challenge. Think of any topic you have a strong opinion on and write a polite disagreement sentence in the comments. Using the phrases from today, we'll tell you if it sounds natural.
Remember, fluency is not about being perfect. It's about being understood, being kind, and being yourself in English. Don't wait until your English is perfect to start using these phrases. Use them now and improve as you go.
We made it to the end. Can you believe how much we covered today? I'm so proud of you for staying with us all the way through. Let's do a quick recap of everything you learned in this episode.
We covered 3 big areas today. First, basic softening phrases like I see what you mean but and I hear you but to cushion your disagreement. Second, how to adopt your language depending on the situation. Casual with friends, more formal at work or school. And third, advanced techniques like asking questions and using the acknowledge, validate, respond structure.
And we talked about the 4 most common mistakes: being too blunt, overusing but, apologizing too much, and staying silent when you actually disagree. Now you know what to avoid and what to do instead.
Here's a reflective question for you. After today's episode, which phrase do you think you'll use the most? Is it I see what you mean but, or I'd like to offer a different perspective, or maybe the question technique? Have you considered? Let us know in the comments.
And remember, disagreeing politely is not about hiding your real opinion. It's about delivering your real opinion in a way that keeps the conversation open and respectful. Your opinions are valuable. Share them with confidence and kindness.
If you found this episode helpful, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps more people find Talk with Hana. And share it with a friend who's learning English. Every share means the world to us.
Don't forget to subscribe to Talk with Hana if you haven't already. We have so many more great episodes coming your way about vocabulary, grammar, everyday conversations, and real-life English. We're here every week just for you.
You are doing such an amazing job learning English. Learning a new language is hard, and the fact that you're here, listening, practicing, engaging, that's something to be really proud of. We believe in you completely.
Thank you so much for spending this time with us today. It genuinely means everything to us that you choose Talk with Hana as your English learning companion.
Keep practicing, keep believing in yourself, and we'll see you next time.